This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist CJ Cartledge.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown. That's a little bit of an echo there. My apologies for that. I'm First Alert Meteorologist CJ Cartledge here. Welcome back to the KSLA First Alert Weather Breakdown for today. I hope you guys have had a great start to your morning with meteorologist Evan Thomason, always bringing the energy for you guys on KSLA News 12 this morning, as well as Dominique and Celeste Soleil. I hope you guys have enjoyed your morning so far. It was a cold start to the day, but we are expected to get a bit warmer out there across the region by this afternoon, and clouds are expected to, stick around throughout the daytime hours. But something has returned to the podcast for today, talking about our topics here. It's weather trivia. We're going to be diving into some trivia questions for today, and the topic for today actually is centered around the winter solstice, which actually starts on December 21st. So in 5 days, we will be entering the winter season here and wrapping up the fall season throughout the next few days ahead of us here. So that's pretty exciting. It's a pretty exciting thing that we're finally entering the winter season. We've already been feeling like winter, though, throughout this month here, with below average temperatures to start the month and the lowest temperatures of the season seen on early Monday morning here. So I'm live on Facebook, as well as on YouTube and the KSLA News 12 app. So if you have any answers that you want to, shout out or answer any questions out there, make your way to the YouTube stream or to the Facebook stream so that you guys can answer the questions and I can see you guys answering the questions and interacting here. We're going to be diving into 4 different questions for today. So let's start off with the first question of the day here. So everybody, get ready for the weather trivia questions. This is question number 1 of the trivia episode for today. And it starts off with, what day of December is also known as the winter solstice this year? And if you listen since the beginning of this episode, I pretty much gave it away here, the first question of this weather trivia episode here. So here are the answer choices. So if you were listening very, very closely, I did say the answer in the beginning of this episode, and that is on me. But here are the answer choices that you have here for this question: December 20th, December 21st, December 22nd, or December 23rd. I want you guys to leave your answers or your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook here, and I will be answering the question very shortly here. The winter solstice, I want to mention here, actually varies between 3 different days here. So one of these answers can be completely ruled out, ruled out here. It's basically 2 or 3 of the answer choices here that have the highest chance of being the answer here. But for this year specifically, what is the first day of winter and or the winter solstice here? I see somebody answered in the YouTube chat, December 21st. Thank you for answering, Mr. Kristen Brown. And people are answering in the Facebook chat. So that is good. That is definitely a good sign here. The answer to this question, if you already had some time to think here, is, drum roll please, the answer is December 21st. Yes, I did say this in the beginning of the episode as we opened up this episode for today. The answer is December 21st, and that runs through, I believe, March 21st or 22nd. It actually varies between the 21st through the 22nd each year. It's mainly due to astronomical reasons and not meteorological reasons here. And we're going to be diving into the next question. I won't give away too many details on the winter solstice because we have more questions on what the exactly what the winter solstice is and some interesting facts about it. What is the Latin meaning for the word solstice? That's question number 2 here. I want to give you guys, or just check the chat to see if there's any more questions that any people have here. As you saw, yep, some people got it right. December 21st. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, so what is the Latin meaning for winters, or for solstice? Just the word solstice. It doesn't mean sun stand still. Does it mean sun? Does it mean coldest day of the year? Or does it mean solar holiday? This may be a more a more harder question as compared to the first one. Started off a bit easy for you guys. Some of you may know this, some of you may not know this, but this is the question. What is the Latin meaning for the word solstice? Sun stands still, sun, coldest day of the year, or solar holiday. Now I'm going to check the chat to see if there's any answers to this question, or I'm going to give you guys some time here because I don't see any responses just yet. So I'm going to give you guys some time to think about this over, maybe for around 15 seconds, and then I'll come back and give you the right answer to this question. And I will start the timer now. All right, I hope you guys have thought really hard about this question. The Latin meaning for the word solstice is, drum roll, it means sun stands still. That means pretty much the sun, as we went through this fall season, you may have noticed that the sun has been, rising a bit lower and lower in the sky as we move through the month of October, through the month of November, and especially through today, through the month of December here. The sun's angle has been more along the lower horizon as compared to really high in the sky here. But on the day of the winter solstice, that is when the sun stops moving southward in the sky and starts to move back towards the middle of the sky, like right over top of your head. When the sun is right over top of your head at high noon, that more than likely means you're on the first day of summer or the summer solstice or very close to that day here. But around the winter solstice, that's when the sun is along the horizon at its highest peak in the sky here. So what it means, the Latin meaning for the word solstice means sun stands still, meaning that it doesn't move upwards or downwards in terms of its change in its displacement on how high it is in the sky, as we see here on Earth. The sun doesn't it does move, but we move around the sun. The Earth moves around the sun. And here on Earth, from our perspective, the sun moves in the sky. So basically, it's at its lowest point in the sky at high noon, as compared to every other day in the year. And on this winter solstice, so the sun stands still. And after the winter solstice, the sun's angle at high noon starts to rise back towards the middle of the sky here. So that's pretty much what the word means in its Latin meaning here. So moving on to the third question of the day. On the winter solstice, is the northern hemisphere tilted towards or away from the sun? So that's the two answer questions that I have here, towards or away. I want to give you guys a little bit of some time to think about this one here, because during the winter solstice, as you may already know, the northern hemisphere gets cooler and the southern hemisphere actually gets warmer. That's a little bit of a hint that I'm going to give you guys here. So on the day of the winter solstice, is the northern hemisphere tilted towards the sun, or is it tilted away from the sun? I'll give you guys some time to think about that, around 15 seconds, and I'll be right back. All right, the answer to this question on the winter solstice is the northern hemisphere wow, can't talk this morning. Is the northern hemisphere tilted towards or away from the sun? The answer is it is tilted away from the sun. That is why we feel a bit cooler here during the winter months or the fall months here. That's why just to give you guys a bit of a visual picture here, just picture this. Picture the Earth. It has a 23.5 degree tilt at all times as it rotates around the sun, believe it or not. But we are on the side of the sun where the tilt is northern hemisphere tilted away from the sun. That's why we feel a bit cooler during the winter months as compared to the summer months. And during the summer solstice, we're on the side of the sun where the northern hemisphere of the Earth towards the sun. That's why the sun's angle is pointed more directly towards the northern hemisphere. That's why we feel warmer. But the sun points more towards the southern hemisphere, and they're actually experiencing summer-like conditions. They're approaching their summer season. It's their spring season right now for the southern hemispheric areas. And in the northern hemisphere, we are approaching the winter season because we're tilted away from the sun. But moving on to the last question here. This is question number 4. Name one of the 4 P's that you should protect when cold weather arrives. Now, if you have paid attention to my posts on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and possibly on TikTok as well, I believe I posted about this. I did mention that pets, plants, people, and pipes were some things that you could protect when the cold weather arrives. So name one of the 4 P's that you should protect when cold weather arrives here. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to think about this. It should be a pretty easy question for you guys. I just muted myself out of nowhere. It should be a pretty easy question for you guys. Give you guys a couple seconds to think about it. All right. I just recognize the typo there. Name one of the 4 P's that you should protect when cold weather arrives. Pets, plants, people, and pipes are all correct answers here. So if you selected one of them, you got it right. Congratulations for playing for today, and thank you for playing for today. We will be more than likely doing another trivia episode pretty soon here. Maybe a bit of a while, though. We won't be doing one next week as I will be personally off all next week for the week of Christmas. But more than likely, we'll be back with doing trivia once again as we move into the week afterwards towards the week of New Year's. Thank you guys so much for playing today. Let me know down in the comments how many you got correct for today or how many you got wrong. And once again, we'll be doing another trivia episode more than likely in the week after Christmas here. So kind of some little bit of some time to wait for another trivia episode. But we're going to be diving into a local forecast just right after this quick break here in around 2 minutes or so. 2 to 3 minutes we'll be back and talking about what we can expect here around the Arklatex for today and through the rest of this week. Once again, thank you guys for participating in the trivia episode for today. We're going to hang it up on the Facebook stream. And make sure to tune in on YouTube as well as the KSLA News 12 app for a dive into the local forecast. And good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I did somebody say in the, I see somebody say in the YouTube stream, "Hi, my name is Jordan, and what's going on with the weather for today?" Well, Jordan, today's your lucky day or your lucky minute here. We are diving into the local forecast right now. We're going to be dealing with mostly cloudy skies. That's what you see right now through our KSLA tower camera, sponsored by Mattress Plus. We're going to be dealing with cloudy skies through the rest of today. Maybe a few peaks in the clouds for some sunshine, but there's not going to be much sunshine for today. And temperatures will be rising a bit higher as compared to yesterday. So if you're hoping for warmer conditions out there, you will be in luck for that as well. Temperatures will be rising into the 50s, but we'll dive into more of the details here in just a second. Here's a look at live conditions right now across the Arklatex as well as surrounding areas around the Arklatex here with First Alert Doppler radar. And those clouds are moving in pretty much from the west for the most part, and we will be receiving southwesterly winds as we move through the rest of today, mainly due to high pressure moving east of the Arklatex or to the right of the Arklatex, and that's allowing for southerly flow to return here around the region. Here's a look at temperatures right now across the region, right as we speak. Around 50 for Magnolia and Mount Pleasant here. Around 45 for Florine. Moving this over to the left a little bit. 43 for Natchitoches and Bienville. 45 for Minden. 46 near Shreveport. And right now it's currently 48 up by Idabel. 44 for DeQueen. But right now, here's a 24-hour temperature change. We're much warmer as compared to yesterday's temperatures. We're near or more than 10 degrees warmer across everywhere around the Arklatex, up to around 16 degrees warmer as compared to 24 hours ago. That's mainly because of how far temperatures dipped into the 20s just on Monday morning, early Monday morning here, and temperatures struggled to make their way into the 40s and some areas even the 50s as we move through the rest of the day yesterday. But we're 16 degrees warmer than yesterday, or around this time yesterday, near Idabel and Mount Pleasant. 11 degrees warmer near Shreveport, and around 10 degrees warmer by Natchitoches. And here's a look at feels like temperatures right now. And as mentioned before, we were in the mid and upper 40s in most areas around the Arklatex. We're feeling like the lower to mid 40s in most regions. And Mount Pleasant and Magnolia not feeling much of a breeze there, but we are feeling some breezy conditions around the region. But Minden feeling like the 30s right now. Still pretty chilly out there around the Arklatex. Here's a look at future track. We could see some rain on the way as we move into our Wednesday and our Thursday by the morning hours on both days here. But as mentioned before, cloudy conditions are expected through the rest of today and into the overnight hours for tonight. But by the early morning hours of Wednesday, we could see an isolated shower to pop up in the southern portions of the Arklatex, and that, meant to do that there. Move myself off of the screen. Here's a look at, we can see some storms in the far southeastern portions of the Arklatex there, and we could see more showers and storms begin to form in the midsections of the region as we move into our daytime hours for Wednesday there, as you can see. But these showers and storms will remain possible heading into parts of the afternoon before clearing out almost entirely as we move towards the late afternoon and evening. Drier conditions are expected heading through the overnight hours for Wednesday night into Thursday, but a low pressure system will be forming in the northern portions of the country, not so much here in the Arklatex, and it could extend some showers into the region as we move throughout our Thursday and into the afternoon hours as well. But this will bring some much cooler and drier air as we move into our Friday here. As you can see, moving into Thursday, late afternoon, clear skies are expected as we end the day, and not much rain is expected to fall out of that system that will be rolling through the Arklatex here. Waking up on Friday morning, temperatures may drop back into 30s out there, but rising back in the 70s as we move into the weekend. We're expecting highs for today to be very similar as what we will see for our Friday here after the cool down. 59 by Texarkana, 58 for Stamps, same for Spring Hill and Hope. Around 57 for Nashville and DeKalb. It looks to be at around 59 degrees, I believe, or 58. 65 potentially near Henderson. 59 for Carthage as well as Center. 60 for Nacogdoches and Chirano. And San Augustine looks to be at around the upper 50s, lower 60s as well. 59 for Natchitoches, 58 for Shreveport, 57s by Ringgold, Bienville, as well as Jonesboro here. So we are expecting mild conditions for today, or mild weather throughout the daytime hours today. Maybe a bit chilly at times due to southerly winds, but it won't be too bad. Tomorrow, as we move through the daytime hours, rain chances may rise a bit, as mentioned before with future track. Southerly flow is expected to continue here, which will be the main driver for those showers and storms. And temperatures will be rising into the 60s heading into the afternoon hours for tomorrow here. 60s for most of the Arklatex, actually. We could see some upper 50s up there by Idabel, DeQueen, and the far north and eastern portions of the Arklatex. Lower to mid 60s everywhere else, more than likely in East Texas and most areas south of I-20 in Louisiana. 62 by Mansfield, 64 by Nacogdoches, and same thing for Natchitoches. Same thing also for Shreveport at around 64 degrees. 61 looks to be the high by Marshall for tomorrow. And as we move throughout the rest of this work week and into the weekend, temperatures rise into the 60s by Wednesday, as mentioned before, 70s by Thursday, and the cool down drops us back into the 50s and lower 60s by Friday. We could see the 70s again as we move into our Saturday and Sunday of this upcoming weekend here. Not much rain is expected to fall for us here around the Arklatex, so mixed in with the warmer than average conditions, this could bring some worse drought conditions around the Arklatex for at least some time here, for quite some time before we receive our next big chance for rain. More than likely coming by after the week of Christmas here. It's taking a long time to load up, as it has been all morning long, I believe, but we're going to move past that. Only around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch is expected, at the highest, a half an inch possibly, and it may not even get close to that. But here's a look at our 7-day forecast, a full 7-day forecast here as we wrap up this episode. I'm going to take a look at the forecast that includes today here, the 7-day forecast that includes today. 1 second. And there we go. Okay, this includes for today. Tuesday, little or no chance for rain for today around the Arklatex, with a high of 58 degrees, more than likely in the mid and upper 50s, maybe some in the lower 60s out there, but we should see the 60s for most of the Arklatex heading into our Wednesday, with showers, isolated showers possible in the morning hours. Bit higher rain chances for the southeastern portions of the Arklatex during the early morning hours as well. Heading throughout our Thursday, we could see an isolated shower or two. We may bump down those rain chances as we move towards the afternoon update here. But as we move into our Friday and Saturday, drier conditions are expected with sunny skies and cooler and drier air moving in throughout the daytime hours on Friday. Heading into our weekend, temperatures boost back above the average for this time of year, with slight rain chances heading into our Sunday and Monday, but above average temperatures last even into the new work week here around the Arklatex. So not much rain ahead for us. Above average temperatures are expected to return sooner rather than later. We're still dealing with the below average temperatures for today, and we're expecting above average temperatures heading into the weekend right after the cool down that happens Thursday night into our Friday, causing highs to drop into the 50s once again, and temperatures in the morning dropping back into the 30s for most of the Arklatex. So thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. Once again, trivia may not be back until the week after Christmas, and I will not be on the podcast through the rest of this week. So this is the last time you'll see me on the podcast, at least through the rest of this week. Meteorologist Evan Thomason will be back on the podcast tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll be on the KSLA News 12 at noon and 4 p.m. today on the shows. And Chief Meteorologist Matt Jones will be back on air at 5 p.m. to tell you guys the latest about what we can expect here around the Arklatex. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And make sure to stay weather aware and stay warm, everyone.